Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am back with another tier list, and in today's tier list, I'm going to be ranking the UCL quarterfinalists. Disclaimer, this is not a prediction video. I posted my prediction video on Friday of last week when the draw was first announced. If you have not seen that video, you can go check it out. But today we're not going to be predicting anything. We're just going to be ranking the clubs based on their form throughout the season and also based on their squad quality. Again, this season, this is not a historical thing. Not how good they've been throughout the centuries of football, just this season. And yeah, man, this should be pretty fun. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section. And yeah, let's not drag this and draw any further. That's pretty much all I have to say. Let's start ranking some UCL quarterfinalists. First up, we have Arsenal, the Gunners, who to me are going to fall inside the top three. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. I'm very bullish on Arsenal this year. I think they're very good. As good as they were last year, pushing a treble-winning Man City team all the way in the Premier League title race, I think they're even better this year. Now, granted, those two games against Porto in the UCL round of 16, do they help my case in putting Arsenal inside the top three? No, because they struggled against a team that, in my opinion, they had no business struggling against. Porto, they're not some shitty team, they're not some bottom feeders, but Arsenal needing penalties at the Emirates to win that tie is not the sight you want to see if you're an Arsenal fan, and Porto, for parts of those two legs, actually kind of outplayed them. So I get why some people might be skeptical about Arsenal after seeing those two games, but I'll tell you Arsenal fans this. I'm going to hype you guys up today because I do believe in your team. I'll tell you guys this so you guys can feel a little bit more confident. Not every team is 23 Man City or 2017 Real Madrid or 2020 Bayern or 2015 Barca. You're not going to spank every team you come up against in the UCL. Those teams are outliers. This competition is way too hard, and these teams play way too hard for you to just like cruise through it, okay? That's why it's the toughest competition in all of club football. So again, Porto, you need penalties to beat them. Is it great? No, but you know what happens, and now you're through to the quarterfinals, and it's a clean slate. And that's kind of like a blemish on their resume for the season, but their overall resume is fantastic, bro. I mean, Arsenal have been one of the best teams in Europe, and they're sitting number one in the Prem right now, and we're in mid-March. And we're actually late March. It's not an outlier anymore. They have the best goal difference in the Prem. 46 goal difference. They've scored 70 goals already. 70 goals, and again, it's late March. And they've only conceded 24. They have the best defense in the Prem. They've kept the most clean sheets in the Prem. Their squad quality, to me, is elite, and their manager is also one of the best in Europe. He's elite. To me, Mikel Arteta is already elite. He's entered that echelon with those other guys like Pep and Jurgen Klopp, and obviously, we know the rest of those names, like Ancelotti. Like, to me, he's in that tier already. Now, is he at the top of that tier? No, but he's in that conversation to me. I mean, their defense is very good. Gabriel and Saliba, is there a better center-back partnership in the world? Not really. Ben White has been fantastic this year. David Raya has the most clean sheets in the Prem. Martin Odegaard has been fantastic. Declan Rice has arguably been the signing of the season. Their front line, Bukayo Saka, one of the best wingers in the world. Martinelli or Trossard, both of them are very serviceable no matter who you play. And their number 9, yes, Jesus is not that great, and Kai Havertz is Kai Havertz. But Kai Havertz, I'll tell you guys this, he's a UCL winner and a guy who scored in a UCL final, who's come up big for them multiple times this year. They're the best team in football, arguably in possession, or one of the best. They're really, really good in possession. With the ball, they're amazing. I mean, they create chances for fun. And out of possession, they're one of the best teams as well. So to me, when I look at Arsenal and their firepower with their squad and their manager and the way they've been playing this year, I do believe that this team has the capability to win the UCL. Now, what spot inside the top 3 are they going to take up? You obviously have to wait until the end of the video to find that out. But I do believe that Arsenal this year have a very good chance of winning the UCL, which I know is crazy, but Arsenal have a good chance of winning a double, bro. Can you imagine Arsenal winning a double? Their fans will never let us live that down. But I do think Arsenal is a very good team, and they should be confident in their team. Again, Porto aside, that was not good, but again, you move on. It's a clean slate now, and I do think that Arsenal, with the squad that they have, they can make a run of this thing. And I think they're one of the best teams in Europe, or a top 3 team in Europe. That's why I'm putting them inside the top 3. Next up is Borussia Dortmund, who to me are going to fall in at number 8. I'm spoiling it right now, 7 through 8. They're going to be number 8 for me because every team in the UCL wanted to face this team. Everybody wanted Dortmund, bro. They are the outlier here. There's one imposter among us, and that team is Dortmund in this quarterfinal. Look, in the Bundesliga, they've not been great. They're sitting, I think, 4th or 5th right now, and they're not even close to number 1. I think they're like 25 points behind Leverkusen. And granted, Leverkusen's been amazing, but they're not even close. And in the UCL, yes, they topped the group of death, obviously, with PSG and AC Milan and Newcastle, but they've not been that convincing to me whatsoever. Dortmund are just an average team. They're really just an average team. Obviously, you lose Jude Bellingham. You bring back Jadon Sancho on loan. And Jadon Sancho scored a goal, obviously, against PSV. I think he's going to be back for the quarterfinal tie against Atletico Madrid because he picked up an injury in that game. But I think he will be back. But when I look at Dortmund, bro, I'll be lying to you guys if I sat here and said I watched Dortmund throughout this whole year. I watched a couple other games. They just look average to me. They score some goals. They concede some goals. It's just really their defense is good but not great. Their attack is good but not great. I mean, Malin's been good. Julian Brandt has been decent. So they have a decent team, in my opinion. They're not great. great. But again, every team wanted to draw Dortmund. So again, I'm not going to sit here and wax poetic and talk too much about Dortmund because again, most of you guys don't care about Dortmund and I don't either. So for that reason, they're going to go into number 8. They're the imposter among this UCL quarterfinal tie, in my opinion, and I think in most people's opinion, because again, like I said, every team in the quarterfinals wanted to draw Dortmund for a reason. Next up is Real Madrid, who to me are going to fall in the 1 through 3 range. Now, what spot are they going to take up specifically? You have to wait till the end of the video, like Arsenal, to find that out because I'm going to arrange this list at the end of the video. But just know for now, they're in the top 3. I'm very impressed with Real Madrid this year. As a rival fan, again, as a Barca fan, it pains me to say, but you got to give them credit where it's due. They've been fantastic this year. And what Carlo Ancelotti has been able to do with that team is remarkable, bro. Carlo Ancelotti is one of the best managers in the history of football. He's won the most UCLs of any manager ever. He's won every single top 5 league. But if he can win the UCL with this team, to me, it'll be his crowning achievement. Now, granted, Real Madrid, they don't have some shitty bummy squad. Real Madrid always have a good team. It's fucking Real Madrid. But the injuries that they have suffered this year to basically all their key players, and they still find a way to win every single week, it's remarkable, bro. Ancelotti experiments and it works every single time. They lost Courtois, the best keeper in the world, arguably, before the season. He was set to come back and then he gets injured again. You lose Militao, one of the best center backs in the world before the season, again, to another 20 ACL like Courtois. And your backline looks amazing. Rudiger's playing like arguably the best center back in the world. Carvajal is having a resurgence, man. I thought he was washed last year. This year he's been fantastic, man. He's been so good. Mendy, when he plays, is decent. Tchouaméni is fantastic. Camavinga is fantastic. Both of those guys are generational, in my opinion. Bellingham, we know how good he is. Probably going to win the Ballon d'Or. Vinicius Jr., one of the best players in the world. He's been amazing this year, especially second half of the season. He's been fantastic. I mean, Brahim Diaz, every time he comes off the bench, he makes something happen. Jose Luis scoring goals. Rodrigo, obviously, we know how good he is. Modric and Cruz, 2 Rolls Royce of players who are still very decent and obviously very serviceable, especially Toni Kroos, who's been fantastic this year and for the past 2 years, really. I mean, this team is stacked, bro. They are stacked. And I watched them, obviously, they beat Girona twice this year, the third place in La Liga now, because obviously Barca surpassed them. They beat them twice this year, 3-0 in their stadium, and 4-0 in obviously the second leg, or like their home leg against Girona. I mean, playing Tchouaméni and Nacho at center back, that's crazy, bro. But they're amazing. They obviously spanked Barca twice this year. One time in the Super Cup final, 4-1, just thoroughly outplayed us. And obviously at Montjuic, that game ended 2-1, but they thoroughly outplayed us in that second half. So when I look at Real Madrid, honestly, I'm so glad they're playing Man City, because if they were on the other side of the bracket to City, they would, in my opinion, they'd be on a path to the final. But again, one of these teams, fortunately for us Barca fans, they got to knock each other out. And I think Real Madrid's going to get knocked out by City, because I think City are really good. Obviously, you guys, I think you can predict where I'm going to put City on this list. But again, Real Madrid, even as a rival fan, it pains me to say, but I got to give credit where it's due. This team this year, what they've been able to do with all the injuries they've had, it's been remarkable. Just imagine if they were fully healthy and they had an actual good number 9, like a cemented striker, like an Mbappe or a Haaland, or even a fucking Victor Osimhen or Harry Kane. They'd be, to me, far and away the favorites to win the UCL. But yeah, again, for me, they're going to be inside the top 3. A fantastic team this year. Again, it pains me to say. I'm going to say it one more time, because it really does pay me to say that. Like, paying this team a compliment. I think I'm going to grow fucking bumps in my skin. But they are that good this year. I mean, you gotta give them credit where it's due. Next up is PSG, who to me are going to take up the number 7 spot. The 7 and 8 spots are filled up. Those to me are the 2 worst teams remaining in the quarterfinal. PSG have Kylian Mbappe. That's it. Other than that, they really have nothing else. If PSG did not have Kylian Mbappe, they would not even win Ligue 1. And I get it. That's like saying if Argentina didn't have Messi, they wouldn't win the World Cup. I get that. You have a generational talent at the peak of his powers, and he's basically carrying that team. But when I look at this team, guys, remember, this is the same team that got outplayed by Newcastle twice this year. And this is not last year's Newcastle, okay? This is this year's Newcastle, who have been extremely underwhelming. Eddie Howe's on the hot seat. And they got spanked 4-0 by Newcastle at St. James's Park in the UCL. Remember that. Don't forget that. Thoroughly outplayed by Newcastle, bro. I'm not forgetting that. And in Ligue 1, they've been good, but they always win Ligue 1. It doesn't matter what happens, they're going to win Ligue 1. Mbappe carries that attack. Colomani is good. He's having a decent season. Gonzalo Ramos is decent. Dembele, God bless him, he's decent as well. I'm not going to really pay him too many compliments. That front line is decent, but it's carried by Kylian Mbappe. That back line is good, not great in my opinion. Their midfield, obviously you have Vitinha, you have Zaire Emery, who to me is going to be a generational talent. They have a decent midfield, but to me, PSG's problem has always been the midfield. They don't really have that, like, I don't really think they have a midfield like that's capable of winning a UCL. They just lack a lot of things in my opinion. And their manager, Lucho, I have a soft spot for him because obviously he's a Barca product and he won a treble with Barca, one of my favorite managers of all time. But to me, Lucho has lost his fastball a little bit. So when I look at, obviously, Barca, we're playing PSG in the quarterfinals. If we can neutralize Kylian Mbappe, which I know it's harder, it's easier said than done. I said that in my preview as well. If you can neutralize him, you're basically looking good. because I don't think this team is that good in my opinion. Again, they're winning League On, that's great for them. But in the UCL, I don't think they're one of the best teams in the UCL. I think they're number 7 right now, the second worst team in the UCL. Again, I could be wrong. People might say I'm being biased because Barca are playing them. That very well could be true. But when I look at PSG, I don't really fear them like that. And for me, Dortmund and PSG, 2 teams that actually played in the same group stage, by the way. They were both in the group of death, and now they're both, in my opinion, the 2 worst teams here. But to me, I can't put them any higher than number 7 because, again, I think that team is mostly carried by Kylian Mbappe. Next up is Atletico Madrid, who to me are going to fall in at 4 through 6. I don't know what to think about Atletico Madrid. They're so fucking inconsistent, bro. This is a team that, in my opinion, could win the whole thing, but also get knocked out by Dortmund in the quarterfinals and get spanked by them. I really don't know what to expect. This is a team that lost to Cadiz, bro. 2-0. They lost to fucking Cadiz, the worst team in La Liga. But this is also a team that knocked out Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey. But this is also the team that lost to Barcelona 3-0 in their home stadium. Barca handed them their first home loss of the season. But this is also the team that beat one of the best teams in Europe, in my opinion, in Inter, in the UCL round of 16, just like obviously last week. So I don't know what I'm going to get with Atletico Madrid. I really don't know. Cholo Simeone is a guy who can, out-coach any manager in the world at any point, obviously in any given game. But in any given game, he can also look like a fucking peasant next to them. So I don't know what I'm going to get with this team. Earlier in the year, they were playing great. Now, not so much. They've lost a bunch of games, like obviously when in the turn of the calendar. So I don't know what I'm going to get from them. Obviously, I know Griezmann is good. I know Oblak is good. I know that Bayern can come off the bench and make an impact. I know that kid Riquelme is pretty decent. I know the Por is good. I mean, they have a good back line, but sometimes it's got a little bit shaky, in my opinion. They're a good defensive team, which is obviously important for the UCL. But when I look at Atletico Madrid, I just really don't know what I'm going to get. And that inconsistency scares me. So for that reason, they're going to go in 4 through 6. Obviously, no one thought I was going to put them in the top 3 when this video started. But to me, they're just a good team. Just like I said, they could win the UCL or they could get knocked out in the quarterfinals. You really never know. But for that reason, that inconsistency is going to put them in the 4 through 6 range. Next up is Barcelona, who to me are going to fall in the 4 through 6 range as well. Obviously, I can't put them in the top 3. No matter how much I love this team, I cannot put them in the top 3. Barca this year have been a roller coaster, man. Our form as of late has been fantastic. 10 games unbeaten. But this whole year has been disappointing in my opinion. Now we're sitting second in La Liga and we're in the UCL quarterfinals. But if you watch Barca this year, which I've watched every game, we have not been that great. We had 3 months of football where we did not beat a team by over 1 goal. We got spanked by our biggest rival. We barely made it out of the group, and we had the easiest group in the UCL. We lost to Royal Antwerp. Our squad has been decimated by injuries at times. We're still missing Frankie de Jong and Bailey. We're starting a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old, and they're arguably our 2 best players. That's how crazy Barca's season has been. But I do believe this team has the capability to win the UCL. I can't put them in the top 3 because they have not been on the same level as Arsenal or Real Madrid this year, but they've been, in my opinion, good. I'll say Barca has been good. Again, our form as of late has been really, really good, and we're peaking at the right time, it seems like. And against Napoli, both of those legs, in the first leg, we outplayed them for like 70 minutes, and then Napoli scored that goal, and then they kind of outplayed us. But then in that second leg, yes, it wasn't that comfortable as the scoreline might suggest, but we still beat them 3-1. It was a comfortable win for us, and we're obviously through to the UCL quarterfinals. Xavi, he can be kind of shaky to me at times, especially with his red cards and his antics on the sideline. But I do think Xavi can go out there and, get the team to play the right way any given game. So for that reason, I'm going to put Barca 4 through 6 again. I'm going to arrange this list at the end of the video. So I don't know if Barca are behind Atletico Madrid yet or not. You'll have to obviously wait and see until the end of the video. But for now, they're going to go in 4 through 6 because, again, I love this team. But this whole season, the season in totality has not been that amazing. But I think as of late, we're peaking at the right time. And obviously, to me, they've been better than PSG and Dortmund throughout this whole year, in my opinion. That's not really a hot take. Some people might think it is. They might say I'm biased, but I don't think that's a hot take. So for that reason, they're going to go in 4 through 6. But again, we'll see where they end up. Next up is Man City, who's obviously going to be in the 1 through 3 range because Man City, to me, are an amazing team. I was going to say the best team in the world, but that would kind of spoil the list. So they're one of the best teams in the world. This team is insane, bro. They're insane. Obviously, spanked Copenhagen in the round of 16 because they always get an easy opponent in that round and just spank them. They're obviously right now 3rd in the Premier League, but we all know they're probably going to end up winning it, honestly. I think Man City are going to win the Premier League because they always do. They have Erling Haaland. They have Kevin De Bruyne. They have Jeremy Doku. They have Ruben Diaz. They have Rodri, who's arguably the best player in the world. They have Ake, they have Akanji, they have Ederson, they have Bernardo Silva. I cannot believe I forgot Bernardo Silva. They still have Jack Grealish, who barely plays for them, but is still really, really good. They have Phil Foden. I mean, this team is fucking stacked, bro. Obviously, the current defending champions, the treble winners. And this team, obviously they're going to play Real Madrid in the quarterfinals, and I think they're going to beat Real Madrid in that tie. And after they beat Real Madrid, it should be pretty easy for them because to me, they're an amazing team. They're an amazing team. I don't have to wax poetic about Man City. They've had their struggles in the Premier League season, like sometimes obviously not getting results against teams that they usually get results against in any other season. But Man City are just a team that, I think they haven't lost in like 13 straight games or something crazy like that. So for me, when I look at Man City, obviously we all know how good they are. And for me, they're for sure going to fall into the top 3. I mean, this team is fucking amazing. And then lastly, surprise, surprise, Bayern Munich in the 4 through 6 range because that's the only spot left. Bayern Munich are a weird team. I don't trust their coach. and I don't trust your team apart from Harry Kane, and I don't really trust Harry Kane that much. I know Harry Kane's having a great season, 37 goals in 37 games. He's been arguably the best player in the world and arguably the signing of the season. But this team just has something weird about them. Those 2 games against Lazio kind of put me off, and their Bundesliga campaign, I mean, they got spanked by Leverkusen. Again, Leverkusen is a great team. I mean, they're arguably the best team in the world right now. Leverkusen is that good. If they were in the UCL, if I was making this list and Leverkusen were in this tier and like in this thing, they might be in the 1 through 3 range because Xabi Alonso has a team playing that well. But when I look at Bayern Munich, it's just a weird team, man. I don't know what to expect from them. I could have put them in 1 through 3 because I do think they have that squad quality. They have good players. Obviously, Tell, they have Musiala, they have Harry Kane, they have obviously Gnabry and Kingsley Coman and Sane, and they have Matthias Ligt, they have Kim Min-jae, and they have good players. They have Alphonso Davies, they have Manuel Neuer. But I just don't. There's something about this team that just puts me off, bro. I don't know what it is, but I don't trust your coach. I trust Harry Kane a little bit, but not so much because this guy's never won a trophy. And who's to say that in the big moments he can actually come through? His playmaking this year has been good, but he drops deep way too much, and he struggled against like physical strikers at times. Like he can't handle a big whenever you put a physical striker on Harry Kane, he's been struggling. I saw someone point that out on a YouTube video the other day. I forgot who it was, but it was a really good YouTube video that I saw talking about Harry Kane and how he struggles against strikers. It was like it was a channel that had like maybe 70 subscribers, but it was a really good video. If I can find it, I'll put it in the description so you guys can go watch it. But after watching that, I was like, oh shit, that's right. He has struggled against like big center backs. So for me, again, Bayern Munich and Harry Kane and Thomas Tuchel, they're a good team, but to me, they're not a top 3 team in Europe this season. They just have not been. They haven't shown me that for the majority of the season, honestly, and those games against Lazio really put me off. So for that reason, they're going to go in 4 through 6. And now we're going to arrange the tier list, okay? So for me, Man City is going to go in at number 1. Obviously, surprise, surprise. Real Madrid to me are going to go in at number 2. The 2 teams playing each other in the quarterfinals to me are the 2 best teams left in the competition. Barca for me are going to, Bayern Munich for me are going to go in at number 4. Barca are going to go in at number 5. And Atletico Madrid are going to go in at number 6, and then obviously the last 2 tiers are going to stay like that, PSG and Borussia Dortmund. So to me, the 8 best teams in the UCL are number 1 Man City, number 2 Real Madrid, number 3 Arsenal, number 4 Bayern Munich, number 5 Barca, number 6 Atletico Madrid, number 7 PSG, and number 8 Borussia Dortmund. And that is the end of the video. If you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section. I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.